Greetings from Costa Rica, folks. Thank you for joining me today, Friday, March 8th, for our live real estate chat here from Playa Junquillal. My name is Matt Rosensteel, aka Costa Rica Matt. Today, we're going to be going over condos on the market. It's a very simple, straightforward topic where I look forward to going over really what I feel are representative listings of the condos that you can currently find for sale in Tamarindo, Avellanas, and Junquillal. So today, we're actually going to be looking at a swath of the Guanacaste coast that I can show you here. Again, ranging from our area down here in Playa Junquillal up to Playa Tamarindo. We are not going to only do my exclusive listings. I'm really happy to collaborate with people from other brokerages, even my direct competitors. I always send out some messages to people prior to these podcasts. I ask my collaborative friend brokers at Blue Water Properties, Remax, etc. Hey, do you have a condo you would like me to talk about? And so we've got a really nice variety of different folks' listings to go over today. We may have a visit by a broker from another place, but we're seeing whether or not that person is going to be able to join us live. Paula, it's great as always to have you. Hope you and Bruce are doing very well. If anybody else is out there in cyberspace watching and capable of adding to the chat, do be sure to comment, give us a shout out, give me that like. If you're watching tomorrow as the replay comes up, feel free to post your comments, questions, concerns, etc. in those comments, because every little bit of participation in my video is good for Costa Rica Matt. As a subtle reminder, folks, I have close to 400 videos about Costa Rica, not only the real estate here, but moving here, taxes, cultural issues, my own take on some of the political situations at times. So do be sure to subscribe for all of this valuable information. Despite how boring it is, there is a ton of it out there, and if you're looking to spend many hours of your life researching Costa Rica real estate, well, you've come to the right place, and thank you very much for joining us. If you've already visited and you're starting to think, man, I need to contact a realtor in Guanacaste, Costa Rica, do be sure to send me an email to matt@costaricamat.com. So that we can get directly in touch and start talking about logistics for buying or perhaps selling real estate here. And finally, before I get started today, as always, I wanted to dedicate this podcast, as always, to my clients, those people who pick up the phone or send me an email and decide to hire me as a realtor to either buy or sell real estate here in the province. These are the people that help me put food on my table. And if you're watching out there today, some of the people who have recently helped me do that, David and Ann, the folks from this morning, it was a pleasure to represent you at closing, help you tie up the house here in Junquillal. All of the folks that helped me do my business, I am extremely grateful to. And I love to hear from you if you happen to be watching. Without further ado, folks, we will be right back to talk about condos on the market here in early March 2024. It's Friday afternoon. It's another beautiful day here in Guanacaste. So let's all toast each other's health and stay tuned. Our topic today is condos on the market here in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. We're going to be focusing on Tamarindo, Avellanas, and Junquillal today. And as a reminder, these are not only my listings. We're actually going to have a fun mix from other brokerages and agents that I love to collaborate with. First, we're actually going to go right into some affordable condos in Tamarindo. Prior to doing that, I wanted to give a quick discussion of just the legal framework for condos here in Costa Rica. Today, we're not only going to talk about units that are in tall buildings, as you might think of a traditional condo. Yes, there are some that are the second story A unit in a building with 4, but we'll also be looking at villas that are in fact standalone structures. And here in Costa Rica, it's important to understand that this condominium legal concept can really mean one of a number of things. First, you can have that traditional multi-level building that's being separated into units that have a very defined 3D space, second story, left, this plano, etc. That is called a vertical condominium here in Costa Rica, which makes a heck of a lot of sense. But you can also have what's called a horizontal condominium, where you're taking the legal framework of what you typically think of a condo building, the homeowner's administration, rules about how you can use your unit, all of that legality that comes along with a typical condo building, you can apply on a 2-dimensional surface by creating a horizontal condo and essentially lining them up next door to each other rather than stacking them up in a building. So if you're shopping for real estate in Guanacaste, you may see this term condominium come up even if you're looking at a luxury gated community like Hacienda Pinilla with standalone homes that are next door to each other. Hacienda Pinilla has numbers of horizontal condominiums established as a legal framework for half-acre lots. And so they have the same homeowners association rules. They have the same legal responsibilities here that a condo building would. It's just literally a 2-dimensional plan where the condo or the element that you are purchasing as part of that horizontal condo is a piece of land that you can build a home to specifications on. So today we're only going to focus on either standalone villas with this horizontal condominium legal structure, or we're going to be looking at some units that are part of bigger complexes. If at any point you have questions, don't hesitate to post them. Dimitri will try and get my attention at some point, and I'm more than happy to veer off topic to swerve into whatever you would like to discuss. Let's get going here, and I realized I hadn't switched back on the information in case you've forgotten who you're watching. And let's bring up here our first condo in Tamarindo. I wanted to do some more affordable options, not to only show luxury stuff, because if there's any complaint lots of people have right now, it's that Guanacaste can seem very expensive. Our first condo today is a $309,000, somewhat, let's call it out of town, but only a few blocks walking distance to Tamarindo itself. This is in what's called the Brisas del Monte complex, which honestly, I think it's funny because to me, monte is a Guanacasteco word, really just means kind of like forest. It only means monte for more Central Valley ticos or, a different, anyway. Brisas del Monte, the condos are lovely. They're all about 1,000 square feet. Here we have it accurately on the listing profile, 971. These were only built, I think, 7 or 8 years ago. And right now at $309,000, this is about the price point that it costs to get into a comfortable unit in Tamarindo. I would say that anything that is below $300,000 in Tamarindo right now is going to be, in a higher density complex than these units. If I'm not mistaken, there are only 6 or 8 condos in Brisas del Monte. It's off a little road where you can actually access sort of the junction going to either Langosta or Tamarindo. And if you're somebody who likes to walk and doesn't mind a little bit of a hike into town, the location is perfect because you're not within the madness. Um, at the same time, that whole neighborhood is blossoming because across the road there was this gated community that had stalled forever. I think it's now called Senderos a Langosta or some other project name. But they finally got construction permits in that gated community across the road. And whereas you only had one house across the road from Brisas del Monte in the past, there's now 24 and a growing number of really nice single family homes in that project. So the overall, the location is getting a bit more attractive. Going right downtown in Tamarindo and to look at a 3-bedroom condo, here we have a $400,000 option at the Villa Verde #1 complex. Both of these listings are my colleague Christina's in our Tamarindo office. Christina is always awesome and super collaborative when it comes time for me to do last minute showings. So I'm grateful to be able to promote her listings too. You can see, first of all, I want to comment that they've done some very nice work at this condo. The photography is great. They hired a pro photographer, and if you want to Airbnb this unit, these are exactly the kind of photos that you need to be out there garnering clicks on Airbnb, especially this one. Absolutely nice. So these Villa Verde 1 units, it's one of the older complexes in Tamarindo, but because it's older, first of all, you have this really lovely sort of courtyard setup. They used to have a lot more space, to leave room for amenities. And the location puts you really sort of central. This is not an accurate location here. This is up in Grande. I would have to pull open my maps tab, and I'm not going to do that. But anyway, this complex is very centrally located, whereas the $309,000 Brisas del Monte condo is 3 blocks from downtown. This is really only 1 or 2 blocks, and you're just right into the thick of the party areas in downtown Tamarindo. If you want information on either of those condos, if Tamarindo is your main area of interest, absolutely, I'd be more than happy to show them to you. We'd pull titles from the registry to compare asking prices to closing prices of recent units, and definitely would love to evaluate those options further. If you want to go a bit higher end in Tamarindo, a new project that is coming on the market is the Puesta del Sol project here that actually features some very rare, sought-after ocean views in Tamarindo. The location is cool because you're just above the Thursday night market. You've got paved roads leading up to Puesta del Sol. This project is still under construction, and it really only looks to be about 4 or 5 months away from completion. They have the pool ready. They have some of the units ready. Here, though, a condo is going to cost you a minimum of $750,000 for one of their 3-bedroom floor plans. The awesome thing is that they've built them with very spacious floor plans. I think we're talking 2,300 square feet. Again, this is another listing that is not mine. Blue Water has it. But it's one of the few brand new projects that you're going to find in Tamarindo, centrally located. They've brought their prices down. The 750 is a new number that, I think what they've found is that pre-construction sales were always going to be very difficult. You have to put out attractive prices for those first investors, the loss leaders, etc. But now, in my opinion, the $750,000 price point, you're getting an absolutely brand new condo. I'm sure there will be, warranties. You'll have guarantees that the developer will take care of any problems. And you're getting a really killer location that is walking distance to downtown Tamarindo that is kind of, irreplaceable central real estate. The road that these condos are on coming into Tamarindo is actually set to be paved itself someday. We're talking about the famous Los Hobos entrance to Tamarindo. And I'm not even looking at Tamarindo here, but let's pull up the location. The Puesta del Sol here is actually going to be right up in the hills above. The night market location is here. That's also just a commercial center where you've got, a little cafe, a bunch of cute little businesses. Like I said, this road is paved up here. And I believe this is the building right here, Puesta del Sol, $750,000. So you're getting a huge condo. You're getting right downtown. It's brand new, so your rental potential in a brand new condo is always going to be boosted once you also get those gorgeous jaw-dropping photos when you upgrade to that really cool lighting and that kitschy furniture. Really, new condos and that fresh modern look are going to capture clicks on Airbnb and VRBO far more often than those tired old Spanish colonial condos that you see so many of. So at Puesta del Sol, you're looking at 750, very large condo though. And if I were to do a quick square foot calculation, we're talking about $300 per square foot at Brisas del Monte, a little bit outside of town, 2,300 square feet, really for a brand new condo at Puesta del Sol, we're talking $690,000 if you use that same $300 per square foot mark. I'm glad those numbers actually were very close and easy to work out. I sort of just dove in there with the calculation. But anyhow, let's continue forward. Kevin King looked at a unit in that complex years ago for $165. You are absolutely right. If you're talking about Brisas del Monte, yes, the pre-sale or the original sale of those units and everything else in Tamarindo was probably about $100,000 to $150,000 less than what it is today. Part of that phenomenon, Kevin, was that construction was not allowed in Tamarindo from 2015 until the pandemic itself. Kevin, yeah, totally. Villa Verde 1 is another example. At Villa Verde 2, you could have bought for $100,000, $150,000 at different points. And now, of course, at Villa Verde 2, even you're only going to find condos, up in the $250,000, $300,000 range. And so what I was explaining is you couldn't build anything for 5 years in Tamarindo. We then had an explosion of demand. So no inventory was created for the end of the recession through the pandemic. Then you had an explosion of demand after COVID. Suddenly it was many people trying to snap up every single unit, Villa Verde 1, 2, Los Sueños, on and on and on. And unfortunately, the timing would have been better a few years ago. I would also mention, though, $165,000, $2018, for example, is probably worth, how many dollars would it take today to replace, adjusting for inflation, given the last 5 years of monetary policy? You might find that the price of these condos is really tracking not so far from, also, it's contrary to the declining value of the dollar. Just to jump into another thing entirely. Let's next look at, so we've done Tamarindo condos and we are headed down to Playa Avellanas. We will bring up our trusty map again here so people get an idea of where we're going. We're leaving this tourism hub in Tamarindo. We're jumping over Hacienda Pinilla, Here there are $1 million, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, huge villas for sale. I just didn't plan on including any, so we're jumping over it and coming down to Avellanas. Still a very quiet community. Avellanas did recently get water access that is causing a ton of construction. One of the things that really helps me sleep at night is that the new water access had a very finite amount. There was hundreds of meters that were given to Avellanas. Yes, developers have bought all of those water connections. You're seeing all 400 being used for development, but it is not going to be infinite. 2 condos we're going to talk about today in Avellanas are parts of the largest complexes there that have sprung up as a result of this new water access. First of all, we're looking at my boy Jurgen's, I shouldn't have said my boy, my colleague Jurgen's listing here. It's the Modelo talking. He has a unit at the Point. These are also very spacious. He's got 2,600 square feet here. I'm sure that can include the patio areas, everything under roof. But you've got really plenty of room at the Point. You're living in what is becoming the downtown Avellanas sort of stretch. And once again, great job to Jurgen and the media team on this listing, because these photos are really nice, intriguing images that renters would like. Especially as the landscaping grows up in this project, you're going to have a really nice, greener, more lush landscape. And, downtown Avellanas is not going to see unlimited condo development. I want to show you where exactly this location puts you. Here you are at the Point, at a corner where you basically turn down the road and you can go either straight down to the water here, or really you can go through a lot of the commercial areas. La Esquina is right here. You've got some really cool restaurants, all kinds of neat sort of events happening at this sort of bohemian business here. And as Avellanas develops, this is going to be really the downtown corridor that becomes that strip someday, with all kinds of, visitors walking down in all kinds of states of, inebriation. Now let's jump down further here to the Enclave. This was the other huge project that immediately got started when Avellanas got water access. There will someday be a total of 51 villas here. They are about 51% sold. And let's bring up the Enclave pictures here. It's a totally different concept than what we've looked at before. Honestly, it's a place that would be extremely workable for people who want to turn the key on their property, go home, and not have to worry about it. It's also got great rental potential because these are very large villas. I've been surprised that, their concept has been to build almost home-sized properties. They have 3, 4, and 5-bedroom models out there. And over time, they've sort of done a variation of different models to offer people. Currently, they have 2-bedroom models on sale at $370,000. Now, that's going to be for your brand new spec villa. You can see this is the kind of project where I was talking about a horizontal condo. And even though they look like homes, functionally, these are condominiums, because at the Enclave, you don't take care of anything outside of your patio and the interior spaces in your home. This is a place where the groundskeepers are constantly maintaining the pool areas, the little lawn spaces. And sorry, they have 1 million pictures. Way to go, Isabel. You also get a parking space covered with most of the units there. And anyhow, at $370,000, their new 2-bedroom units are about as big of a property that you can find at that price point in our area. It's not going to be for absolutely everybody. The project does have massive pools with the villas radiating around them. It's another place that will benefit with time from the landscaping coming in. But because they have so many villas, because they've got really sort of a tight setup, HOA fees there are reasonable. And like I said, you can turn the key and leave one of those, not only because they have tight security, but because, with so many neighbors in that setup, you're in essentially a resort kind of setup where nothing can really happen to a villa while you aren't there. Not saying that any particular villa has more security concerns than others. I think our last condo may be coming up here as we want to talk about a price reduction here in Playa Junquillal. We're at half an hour here. Yeah, 12:31. Let me get it loaded. It's the one link I didn't have ready to go here. I have, sorry about that. If you have any questions, comments, concerns about the condos we've seen so far, if you want to make an offer and just send one to me directly, you can email me at matt@costaricamat.com. Again, one of the things that my team loves to do is represent buyers looking at condos and not only just digging into what's available currently, but also the historic comps. Especially in condominium projects, we can pull the titles from the registry, find out who has bought what and for what price at what time, and actually help you make decisions based on real data. Most recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've helped a couple people make low offers on condos because of the data that we looked at. In several situations, it didn't work out, and at the time, it's a good thing to do rather than just overpaying. Let's talk about Iguana Villas number 2. Recently reduced just below the $400,000 mark. And one of the things that's hard to really capture in photos is just how large these villas are. You've got 1,700 square feet with a first-story floor plan that really leaves you room for this absolutely massive family living and dining room. And then you have another 8 feet of porch outside. This particular villa was remodeled basically down to its studs. You would have seen the old Spanish colonial sort of mud-colored tiles previously. You would have seen really old basic aluminum doors, some very affordable finishes that had been used as part of the original development. And the owner of this condo really turned it around and created what you're looking at here. This is a bathroom with a 9-jet jacuzzi tub. The toilet is one of the fanciest I've ever seen in my life. Everything that this person bought for the home really feels like those quality finishes you would expect in your US or Canadian comfortable, well-done home. Obviously, it's being sold largely unfurnished, and it's a great opportunity for somebody who wants to move to Costa Rica or somebody who's already here who's been accumulating stuff over the years. I've seen a lot of people out there who are moving from Tamarindo, Potrero, looking for a quieter area, or if you're a family who wants to bring down your container of stuff, this kind of condo is a perfect opportunity to land in Costa Rica and set up your own lives. Or if you're just somebody who likes to pick your own furniture rather than moving in to a fully furnished home, again, you've got a ton of opportunity to make this villa your own. One of the coolest things they did here that I want to point out This is actually the entrance into the first story guest bedroom. You can see it here. There's a sliding door that's actually a full ceiling to floor mirror. So when you go into the guest suite, which is this room, you're actually standing behind that mirror. And of course, it's basically a locking sliding door on the inside. This is the master suite upstairs. You've got that 9-jet jacuzzi tub in the bathroom here behind us, and then a lovely balcony up there. Iguana Villas is down here in Playa Junquillal. Let's go back to our map here. And once again, Junquillal, like Avellanas, is not overdeveloped. You still find plenty of time where you can be on the beach by yourself. And the amazing thing about the Iguana Villas, you are situated right here, in fact, precisely in this condo, and your walk down to Playa Blanca is only 4 or 5 minutes. Playa Blanca itself is one of the absolute best beaches in Costa Rica, if you're asking me. And if you want to virtually explore this absolutely wonderful, exquisite, idyllic beach virtually, you should visit CostaRicaMat.com, click on this enormous, obvious launch tour button, and then once the tour has loaded, oh, come on, there we go, absolutely. You'll have access to all of these amazing drone videos. You can check out real estate listings in the area. You can virtually walk through town by plopping yourself in a virtual tour here. Or like I said, you can look at these gorgeous beaches that we have here in our area. This is that I will see less colors that you're seeing. The rocks underneath, everything makes for absolutely gorgeous snorkeling. If you want to live vicariously through my website and visit Playa Blanca and the other beaches that we have here, again, you go to CostaRicaMat.com, click on the launch tour, and you'll be able to visit all kinds of amazing spots. With that, folks, I'm going to leave you to enjoy a bit more of Playa Blanca, the beautiful rolling tide. We'll call it an afternoon, and I will look forward to seeing you next Friday live at noon for a Playa Avellanas market report update. Thanks.